It's Friday the 13th again, and you all know what that means. I'm covering more SpongeBob SquarePants, the show of absolute terror. Whether it be Plankton, the attritional rapid-force psychologically manipulative war mastermind of breakdown, or Patrick, who suffers from trauma-induced anxiety-triggered spontaneously duplicative multi-intellectual dissociative identity disorder, paranoid schizophrenia, and chronic delusions of a mental multiverse, this show has demonstrated to me that it has a lot to unpack. So, in an attempt to use insanity to take this as far as I seriously can, today we are dissecting SpongeBob himself, and how he's clinically insane. Hello, I'm the Theorizer, and SpongeBob SquarePants himself is a lot like Squidward Tentacles, but only in the moments where Squidward acts crazy. SpongeBob is always crazy, hopping around like a maniac, brain turned to absolute mush, etc. Squidward, however, when something goes very wrong, or he simply cannot take it anymore, he freaks out, starts laughing like a crazy person, and giggling like SpongeBob. He quite literally acts exactly like SpongeBob and Patrick in his moments of pure rage and intolerance of their stupidity. No normal person acts like this 24/7, but it's understandable if someone is under extreme stress to go sort of hilariously insane. Thanks to my extensive theories, we know why Patrick does this, and we literally see in the show why Squidward sometimes does it, but SpongeBob is the only one without an origin of his carefree bliss. If you've watched the third and final part of my Patrick theory trilogy, you may have an idea of where I'm taking this. Patrick, I diagnosed with hundreds of multiplying split personalities and severely chronic delusions. As stated in my previous videos, some of this confusion and terror rubs off on the people around him, including SpongeBob. SpongeBob was silly as a child, I'm sure you can all find evidence for that, but that's normal for all kids. SpongeBob's problem is that he's not changed. His problem is that he's been driven past those occasional outbursts that Squidward has, those manic, ridiculous laughing fits he has. Sometimes, albeit rarely, Squidward is driven so far, like in the Magic Conch episode, that his eyes grow wide and he gives into the madness, like the idiot friends around him. But SpongeBob acts like this all the time. It's his mind's failsafe after giving up on sanity, ignorant bliss. SpongeBob still has many normal moments, but when Patrick gets stupid, SpongeBob immediately snaps into this mode. Not only around Patrick, though, SpongeBob also randomly will snap into it as a part of his general personality. It's leaking through. It's become second nature for him to have these unruly snaps of ridiculousness. It's certainly nothing like what Patrick's got going on, but it's still something. SpongeBob is an immature child. It's like he's reverted to childhood by going too far with Patrick, hanging out too much, giving this mentally ill echinoderm a friend at the cost of his own sanity. SpongeBob's family doesn't second-guess it. This is a problem, because it means SpongeBob had a little something before he met Patrick. A crack in his mentality, a weakness for bliss. And when I say insanity, I'm not talking about him having random mental disorders, I'm talking about how he has literally disconnected himself from reality as a last-ditch effort for subliminal self-preservation. He endured a trauma, a torment, which has made him into this extremely immature adult. Then again, each character in Bikini Bottom is so far into their stereotypes that it makes me feel like something severe has happened to all of them in one fell swoop, but More on that some other time. So, as I said, something must have happened to SpongeBob at one point or another to cause this severely problematic behavior. So I'm gonna prove all of this by going through a few clips, and it'll show you how Squidward and SpongeBob are frighteningly similar when it comes down to their breakdowns in mental state. In the first clip, we'll observe Squidward has just had a frustrating day dealing with SpongeBob. At the very end, SpongeBob manages to do the exact opposite of what Squidward had wanted. This final blow hit Squidward the wrong way, and he broke down, being incapable of anything but a single smile, which he held for quite some time, before absolutely losing it, laughing and freaking out. But we need more evidence, more clues.
He escaped.
Clips. In this second clip, from the episode entitled Good Old What's His Name, Squidward tried to beat SpongeBob in a contest for a vacation brochure, and when his attempts resulted in his imprisonment, he started to lose it. But when Mr. Krabs reveals that the contest was actually to win the brochure itself and not the vacation, Squidward has what I shall call a mini moment. His eyes go bloodshot, and he starts giggling and chuckling with a warped face while he smiles. It's quite faint, but you can in fact see a resemblance to SpongeBob's laughable personality in this moment. However, it's other scenes where we really start to see it. In the episode called Squid's Visit, the animators sort of go all out with this whole idea. After some horrendous antics with SpongeBob, Squidward, like we've seen multiple times now, basically caves in and becomes as crazy as SpongeBob. After his house is burnt down by an overcooked casserole because he was too distracted by playing with a vacuum cleaner, he has a vision where he appears to be dining with the vacuum. It's clear at this point in the episode that he's taken too much of the inanity. After SpongeBob tells Squidward that he can stay over for the time being, Squidward's face becomes warped and dead, and then he shrinks and vanishes to a point. It is then that we are shown him in the vacuum. He has slipped from sanity. He is doing like SpongeBob preaches and using his imagination in the worst way possible. As he drinks tea with the vacuum, he offers up a casserole. Then he laughs like a maniac, and it zooms in on him. We then see the reality of the situation. Squidward's sentience has vacated his body. Basically, he's insane. And what goes on in his mind parallels that of SpongeBob, and the use of his imagination. If it was SpongeBob doing this weird dinner thing, it's something we would all laugh at, but since it's Squidward and they play eerie music over top of it, we are certain something isn't quite right. Another good episode for proof of Squidward's similarities to SpongeBob is in the episode where he moves into a private neighborhood. He can't even go a few days without doing something immature. He literally has too much fun with a leaf blower. Because deep down, he is just like his crazy neighbors. It's like he's almost putting on an act around SpongeBob and Patrick, trying to be sophisticated, when honestly, we know he isn't. Squidward has had many mental breakdowns before. He has very severe anxiety and is prone to panic attacks. He'll do anything to be better than SpongeBob, as we see many times, and he's very immature deep down. People who are truly sophisticated, like Squilliam, see how he's a poser and a fraud. He's an insane squid who tries to be better than everyone else, only to please himself. He's a narcissist who thinks he's amazing with art and music. Upon being criticized, he becomes livid. In actuality, SpongeBob is far more mature than Squidward. It just isn't very apparent because it's, as I've been saying, SpongeBob has gone permanently insane, to the point where he's not aware he's even doing it. And it's so convincing, not even we can tell that something is amiss. A good example of a mental breakdown is in the episode where he takes a trip to what I'll call Clarinet Land. Some would call this a drug trip or a fever dream, though he is not sick or high, he's crazy. An absolute head case. But this theory of mine is about SpongeBob. I'll do Squidward's mentality another day, very soon. Point is, these two are similar with what they find amusing, or how they see things altogether. Now, SpongeBob could very well be insane, Or he could be a psychopath faking bliss and insanity. And if we're truly going in this direction, there's even a strong possibility that he could be an insane psychopath who thinks he's faking bliss and insanity. An emotionally dead psycho, so disconnected from reality that he fakes crying and emotions because he's so desperate for bliss. A psycho so nuts that he thinks he's a TV show character, and he is, which makes this even further layered with intellectual psychology. Since it's even more unlikely than what I'm already spouting though, I'll keep myself grounded. For now, many people have also noted how the show SpongeBob SquarePants got really bad and unfunny after sometime around the episode known as Squilliam Returns, where SpongeBob's little people in his mind threw out all of his knowledge in the form of files, erasing everything he knows. It's my belief that this was actually the point where he officially lost his sanity. Before this point, he was mostly just being kind to the mentally disabled Patrick, but after, he had no clue of anything. His brain, I repeat, turned into pink mush. For those of you wondering, this is the main series on my channel. Coraline sort of was, but I only ultimately made about 3 theories on that. The rest were just answering your questions, which is why I'm likely going to make a whole other one sometime this year. For now, though, the dissection of the mentalities of SpongeBob characters is my main series. It may be mostly ridiculous, but I find it a ton of fun, and so do you. So I will keep doing it. In fact, you guys please go out and find more instances where Squidward goes crazy. It will help. And once you guys aid with more evidence, I'm making a follow-up theory on SpongeBob. And I've also got Squidward's and Mrs. Puff's theories coming down the pipeline. Lots of theories on television shows this year. And so, until next time, I'm the Theorizer.